Hello viewers, at long last, after a lengthy, I think it was almost 8-month intermission, we are ready to return to the videos that first made this channel famous, the telephone videos and the telephone checkouts. It's been a long time in coming. It's taken a lot of time and energy to get the studio set up here and everything else with the relocation process. Things are finally starting to tone down a bit, so I can find myself here back behind the camera doing these hobby videos again, which will be good. I enjoy recording these kind of videos and getting to take a look at all this interesting equipment. So I figured to start, we'll begin with an unusual telephone, a model that I've never seen before. This is the Presidian 43-69 telephone. The Presidian being a RadioShack house brand in the 2000s era, maybe into the 2010s. I'm not exactly sure how long it lasted. I remember seeing Presidian stuff at RadioShack back in the 2000s. I used to go there a lot. And I don't know what's become of the Presidian name. I haven't really looked for it, but I certainly haven't seen it in recent times. I have no idea if it got bought out by somebody else or if it just kind of slowly faded away like RadioShack unfortunately did. So this is a Uniden manufactured product, and it's very, very odd, like a combination of the DECT 2080 and DECT 1580 models. You can see various characteristics in the physical design of the handset and the base from both models. So I'm very curious to see what kind of operating system this has and what battery it takes and so forth. I'm hoping that it has the original battery in the package somewhere still so we can get a date on this. So let's take a look at the feature set here. It's very difficult to read, the text is very small. Features of the Presidian DECT 6.0 Cordless phone with answering system and caller ID. DECT, digital enhanced cordless telecommunication. Causes absolutely no interference to your wireless computer network. That is true, I suppose, because it's a different frequency. Record message digitally, no tape required. Caller ID, remote capability for the answering machine. 70 name, 70 number phone book, which is the same as the 2080, 1580. Expands to 6 handsets. Handset, speakerphone, intercom. 5-number redial, volume control, ringer control, headset jack, wall mountable, hearing aid compatible, switchable tone tolls, dialing, nickel metal hydride battery that charges while the handset is in the base. So I'm going to guess that this probably has more similarities to the 2080 than the 1580. And it looks like the top of the box is the same as the bottom of the box, which is kind of weird. When it comes to quality and reliability, Presidian is the name you can trust for all your electronic needs. I suppose in this case that's true because Uniden was both pretty good quality and very reliable. Alright, let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have here. I don't know if this has ever been opened or not. Yeah, it looks like it has been. I wonder if it's been used. Looks like it has been. The Nick showed me this telephone on the e-rip-off, and I don't think that the individual showed photographs of the contents of the package here, so I'm seeing it now for the first time. Alright, so we've got the belt clip here. Got the instruction manual, or the what's included thing, a quick start guide, and you can pause the video and read that if you so desire. It says the same thing on both sides, it's just in a different language. Okay, so now that I'm looking at the handset, it is clearly much more like the 2080. Back kind of looks like the 2080. The belt clip is the same, or very similar in form factor to the 2080. And the buttons are pretty much the same as the 2080. What looks like the 1580 is the top here. Very interesting. Buttons have a nice feel to them, a lot of feedback. Let's see what we got inside the battery compartment. We have a nickel metal hydride battery, a rechargeable battery. It is the 2.4 volts, 650 milliamps, made by Lexel, which is kind of an unusual brand, and it's from 2007 or 2008. So this is an early model, which is what I would have expected. It's crazy to think these phones are starting to be 15 years old now. I remember when these came out. I remember before this DECT 6 stuff even existed. Oh, it's crazy. It says Presidian on the back. The adapter is also branded Presidian, and it is the AC adapter model number PS-0020, outputs 9 volts at 350 milliamps. It's one of the smaller yellow plugs. I don't know if that battery would take a charge or not. I will plug it into the telephone just out of curiosity, but I don't really expect anything out of it. Well, what that does, it almost seems like it should be a button or something. Maybe it's got something to do with the base, you know, the mounting thing. Okay. Okay, looks like the answer machine came right up. Seems to be copacetic.
No messages.
It's got a nice solid, sturdy feel to it. Plug in the battery. I have found that these nickel metal hydride ones don't seem to age that well, whereas the nickel cadmium ones, those held on for a long time. Although it looks like this one's trying to do something, but it's not It's not keeping. There's no point in playing with that. The battery is well past its expected lifespan. Let's see if I have another one that we can put in there that's charged up. It's not charged up. Let's see. I know I've got to have one somewhere. I wonder if this one is charged up. Since it's been so long since I've used any of these phones, I suspect a lot of these batteries are not going to be correctly charged up. So I'm going to have to go through and charge them up. Alright, looks like we got a winner here. This one seems to be working. It's got a nice quality feel. I'm going to leave the belt clip off for now. There's no need to stick it on for this video. Okay, so it says check tone line because it's unplugged, so I'll go ahead and plug this thing in. I think I've got the equipment set up properly. Okay, it's getting something now. So that hopefully is on the mains.
From Jones Family Farms, this is the clapperboard message for the new year of 2023. Thank you to all who visited the farm this past year to harvest the crops of strawberries, blueberries, pumpkins, and Christmas trees, as well as visit the winery. Although the farm fields are closed, we look forward to opening the winery again and welcoming guests.
Sounds pretty good. Earpiece sounds as good as these always do.
For Valentine's weekend, the winery's tasting room will be open Saturday, February 11th, and Sunday, February 12th.
Nice, rich, lifelike, clear sound. That is working. The display is sharp, clear. The battery icon is that crooked one, so this definitely has the 2080 operating system. It's got a couple calls in there. Let's go ahead and delete those out of there. Okay. It's got 4 entries in the phone book. They're 7-digit numbers. I think in most areas you can't dial 7 digits anymore. You can here, but it seems like it's really slow when you do that for some reason. Let's see, we got redials. The redials are 7 digits as well, so I would suspect that this has been out of service for some time. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these redials out of here. Don't need no phone numbers getting out there. Okay. Ringer was on low. Standard ringtone set. Personal ring, which I'll turn that off. Turn that on. I have no idea what time it is. Huh, that's interesting. I've never seen that setting in here before. I can't fathom why you would want to shut that off. Huh. Okay, so it does have a unique operating system, or at least a slightly modified version. That's really interesting. That was one of my curiosities, was if we put an entry in here, what does it show up as? Well, let's find out. In theory, that should work. Yeah, it works. So then I guess if that was to be turned off, then it would not capture the name? That's really strange. And what's even stranger, that it's under global setup. Because it doesn't seem to spend any time loading up to the base. You know, whereas if you changed, no, I guess it doesn't do, I don't know why, usually it takes a second to load up if you access a setting in the base, but I guess not. The contacts need to be cleaned. So now let's try again. And now it's not matched. So it's operating properly, which is to be expected. What an odd, that's so odd. Very strange. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and call the test and answer machine, and I'll record some testing messages speaking in from the handset.
2 new messages and 2 old messages. Message 1.
Hello everybody. It sure is nice to be back to recording these conventional videos once again, rather than just recording a break-fix model of how to own a home. Anyways, this is the first testing message being recorded from this Presidian telephone 43269 or whatever it was, and I've just walked across the basement, which is not very far. It's only maybe, I don't know, 30 or 40 feet with not much in between it, so we don't have a really good sample of the range. Just an interesting note, ever since I moved in here, the way I use the telephones has kind of changed quite a bit, because at the old location the range was very important because of the yard layout outside. But here, you know, the yard is not that large, so it's very seldom that I will need the phone to go very far. So I don't really care all that much about the range anymore, as long as it's good enough to go across the house, which most models are, even the lesser performing models. Anyways, this phone seems to be working properly, as far as I can tell on this side of things. When I first started speaking, there was a fair bit of side tone. Now that has diminished to be not entirely non-existent, but it definitely is not very noticeable, which is not my preference. I prefer to have a lot of side tone. Okay, I'm going to switch over to speakerphone now. Alright, I have switched over to the speakerphone, and I'm speaking into the handset at the same volume and distance as I was before. So this will give us our comparison between the pickup on phone or talk and speakerphone. Now I will put the telephone down onto the table, and right now I'm speaking speaking about a foot away from a telephone. And I have had very good results with these speakerphones. I find that they usually pick up clearly and from a pretty good distance. This is about 2 or 3 feet away from the telephone, 4, 5, 6, and this is about maybe 7 feet. I can't really go too much further. What I have to do is put the telephone on the other table, and then I can walk a good ways away. But that other table is not quite set up yet, so this is what we got. Alright, I'm going to hang up with the buttons, and then I'll call back and hang up into the base directly. So that'll be it for this testing message. Over and out.
Message 2.
Hey Bill, it's Frank. Just calling to see how you made out with the snow today. Okay, hope all's well. Bye. Oh, it didn't hang up because of the contacts being dirty. I'll try again.
End of messages.
Those messages were clear. Sounded pretty good. The pickup on speakerphone was kind of more muffled. There wasn't a big change in the audio volume so much, but there was a pretty distinct change in the audio tone, the frequencies it was capturing as you switch from talk to speakerphone. I thought the pickup on talk sounded clearer. It kind of cut out a lot of those lower muddy frequencies, but for some reason it adds them back on speakerphone. I suppose the theory is if the phone is further away from you, you would need those frequencies in there to maintain the depth of the voice, which is true to an extent, but maybe not to the extent that they did it on this telephone. Alright, so now let's take a look at this answering machine on here.
This is Lori. I'm sorry I'm not here right now. If you'd like a deployment, please leave your name, phone number, and message. I'm open on Tuesdays from 1 till 7, Thursdays and Fridays from 9 till 5, and Saturdays from 9 till 2. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess this was used as some kind of a business. I couldn't quite hear what she said, but I'm surprised that things in that good a condition. Usually when the phones are used in a commercial environment, they get beat up.
Greeting has been deleted. Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Let's see what our answering settings are here. All the buttons work perfectly fine on this. The security code was changed from the default. Usually it's defaulted to 80. Tall saver, that's interesting. So a bunch of these settings were changed. We'll turn it to announce only so we can hear what that greeting sounds like. Now I'll go ahead and call it up.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please call again.
And it just disconnects the line. That's all that feature does. This is a test. I'm sure the audio quality is probably deplorable, but that's just the way these things work. So on these, the greeting is modified in here.
Friday, 4:35 p.
Huh. I guess you can't do it in there. But you can't do it in here either, so then I guess you can only do it on the base. Huh. That sure is strange. Because now that microphone on the base serves no purpose but just to record the greeting. At least it's actually real, looks like. There was the...
Hello, no one is...
That was the message alert you just heard there.
Record, greeting.
You have reached the donut shop. We closed last night, but we will open again tomorrow at sunrise. Call later.
You have reached the donut shop. We closed last night, but we will open again tomorrow at sunrise. Call later.
That actually doesn't sound all that bad. It's not great, but it seems significantly better than what some of these are.
You have reached the donut shop. We closed last night, but we will open again tomorrow at sunrise. Call later.
Well, that's interesting. The playback of that greeting seems to be considerably better quality than some of the other Digitan DECT 6 Uniden models out there. Usually the answer machine is a really abysmal quality, and this is kind of abysmal too, but it's not totally awful. It seems a little bit better than some of the other ones I've worked with.
New messages. This is a test. I'm sure the audio quality is probably deplorable, but that's just the way these things work.
Yeah, that's a notch better than usual.
Friday, 4:35 p.m. That's interesting. The playback of that greeting seems to be considerably better quality than some of the other Digitan DECT 6 Uniden models out there. Usually the answer machine is of really abysmal quality, and this is kind of abysmal too, but it's not totally awful. It seems a little bit better than some of the other ones I've worked with. Friday, 4:37 p.m. End of messages.
Let's see if the playback is any clearer through the handset. Sometimes it is.
Friday, 4:39 p.m. 2 old messages. This is a test. I'm sure the audio quality is probably deplorable, but that's just the way these things work. Friday, 4:35 p.m. That's interesting. The playback of that greeting seems to be considerably better quality than some of the other Digitan DECT 6 Uniden models out there. Usually the answer machine is of really abysmal quality, and this is kind of abysmal too, but it's not totally awful. It seems a little bit better than some of the other ones I've worked with. Friday, 4:37 p.m. End of messages.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it does seem to be a little bit better than some of the other ones.
To delete all messages, press delete again.
Okay, well I think that's pretty much all there is to show here with this one. the Presidian 43 269 telephone. We'll have plenty more videos of telephones to come. I've got quite a few stored up, backlog from, mostly backlog from when I was still at the other location, and a couple new ones here and there like this. So that's that. I've got testing equipment just kind of chilling there, but eventually it will all go over there and have some kind of a permanent setup.